Morning folks, I'm back out today on another wild camp. Finally, a lull in the weather. It's actually quite pleasant. I'm rolling my sleeves up here. I'm currently walking across field paths. I set off from Trawden in the South Pennines, sort of north-west South Pennines, and I'm currently walking across these fields to Wycoller. And the place for today's wild camp is Ladlaw, which is the highest point in the South Pennines. That whale back up there is Ladlaw. Well, the summit's Ladlaw, the actual hill as a mass is Bullsworth Hill. I knew we were going to be wet today underfoot, but this is horrendous. This area hereabouts as we approach Wycoller absolutely reeks of history, especially medieval stuff. I'm just going to show you some here. First historical feature of the day. These upright stones forming this field boundary, these are called vacary walls, and the vacary system is an old system of small scale cattle farming from I think the 14th century. There's a lot of these walls hereabouts. I absolutely love this doorway. Look at that lintel. I also love this studded door. It looks absolutely ancient. Wycoller's famous for its bridges, and that one there, that's probably the most well known with the sort of distorted arch. That's a pack horse bridge. Bit of uncertainty about the date, 13th to 15th century what I've read, so no one's been able to pin that one down. And there's another one just up here, another bridge number 2. This one is bridge number 2. This is the Clapper Bridge. I like this one. They reckon this one age-wise 16th to 17th century, that's a consensus, though reading one historian reckons it could be pre-Norman, but I don't know how you establish that really. You got Wycoller Hall there, we'll go and have a look at that in a minute. So this bit I'm walking into here, this is the remains of Wycoller Hall. Fantastic building it must have been in its heyday. We'll have a proper look inside. So this bit here is the Great Hall. Fantastic place this. Just look at this fireplace. It's got like shields up there. There is, I've seen on the internet an engraving from 1650 that shows this room at Christmas, on Christmas Day, and its heyday full of people celebrating. Looks absolutely incredible. This is interesting over here. That. No one's really sure what that's for, that little keyhole feature. Someone said it might be a place for storing guns, although next to a fireplace, I'm not so sure about that. Someone else said it's a log store, but I think most people seem to think, I've never heard of one of these, it's a wig powdering place. Interesting that, isn't it? Place to powder your wigs. Now, of the 3 bridges, this one's meant to be the oldest of the lot. This is called the Clam Bridge. It's a massive, massive stone. Some people reckon it's Neolithic in age, this bridge, but I don't know how they know that. Pure guesswork to me, that. I doubt it very much. A bit more treacherous than the others. I'm on a decent bridleway now. The field paths round here, just with all the rain and the melting snow and stuff, absolutely sodden. Yeah, this bridleway I'm on now is going roughly, direction's that, southwest, something like that. And it's part of the Bronte Way. So I'm going to follow this for, I don't know, another mile or so, and then I cut right up onto Moors towards Ladlaw. Oh, look at these marvellous old causey stones. I love walking on these. Proper South Pennines speciality, these old paved trackways, especially in Calderdale. Right, I'm going to get some water now. I'm trying out a new filter today. I've got one of these platypus quick draw McGraws, whatever they're called. See what this is like. Views are getting good from here. Ingleborough there, and Pennygent there. And of course, who can forget Pendle? So yeah, this is the steep bit of the day. This is a slog up to the top of Ladlaw. It's just a steady, unremitting climb. Piece of cake with a little rucksack on, but a big pack like this, Gordon Bennett. Right, I'm pretty much on the summit ridge now at Ladlaw, Bullsworth Hill. Just above my finger there is the summit, which is to the south. But I'm just going to venture to the north. I think I might be camping at that end, and there's also a summit I want to look for. Raven. And another. Well, that's not something you expect on a cold February day. A northern egger moth caterpillar. I've changed my mind. I've decided to come to the top of Ladlaw first. Then I'll go to the northern outline in a bit. Top's just up there ahead. Bloody typical, innit? Just had a shower, got all togged up in my overcoat and leggings and stuff, and it stopped. I suppose I'll keep the window, it's quite chilly up here. Yeah, so I've just been to the top, which is just up there, and now I'm going to go to, I suppose, what you call the north top. There's some gritstone outcrops up there, and I think, all being well, I intend to camp at that end. Elin and Colin, I remember this, coming up here, me and Lee, years ago. Quite a fresh carving then. Well, I think I've found a nice pitch here, tucked away in these rocks, somewhere around here. But it's too early to put the tent up, so I did say earlier that there's something up here that I want to look for. And it's something, if I find it, I'll be chuffed to bits. Red grouse there, just flushed a snipe as well back there. Yeah, it's an example of some rock art. It's like a carving of like a bovine on a rock up here in sort of a prehistoric style. If it was in the Neander Valley, you'd just put it down to Neanderthals. But up here, even though it looks old, I think they reckon it's a Victorian sort of, what's the word? Pastiche, is that the word? Anyway, but I would like to see it. And I've been told it's over this way. There's something to get excited about if you're a nerdy botanist like me. Fir club moss. Don't see that so often. Well, I haven't found it. And it's not easy either. The outcrop in question, it's like tumbling down the hillside. You can hear water flowing beneath it. There's like big cracks and chasms that are crusted over with snow drifts. I fell on my arse once already. It's a bit treacherous in places. I don't like the look of that weather coming this direction. It's a little bit early. I might put the tent up. Listen to that, it's raining again. Just started, just as I started getting stuff out of the rucksack and stuff, so I managed to dive in the tent. It's a bit of a hasty rush put up. I'll have to go out again after and just check things. I'm just lobbed everything in here, totally disorganised. I'm going to start arranging things in a minute. I just love chicken satay. I've brought a little lip flask of whiskey. My mum bought me this lip flask years ago. Sentimental value. Yeah, I don't drink whiskey normally, but I'm gonna put a bit in my tea. I'm not sure it works in tea, but I'll give it a go. This is the view from the tent, surrounded by rocks. Misty, more Grimes down. A quick view of the tent in the mist, just tensioned everything up. Yeah, mist come down, starting to rain. I'm experimenting with my tea tonight. I've got some instant mash, and in that will go some pre-cooked chopped bacon and a bit of greenery. I've got a big floret of purple sprouting broccoli, which I'll chop up and I'll chuck that in water to make the mash. I'm getting a bit, well, I keep saying it about dehydrated meals, they're so expensive. Just experimenting at the moment, trying to find something half decent that's cheap. So what's brought me to Ladlaw today? Well, I mentioned earlier it's the highest point in the South Pennines. I think some people might count Pendle, which is higher, but Pendle's an outlier. I don't consider it part of the South Pennines. And it's an hill that I've sort of embedded up here quite a while. I remember when I first started buying Ordnance Survey maps, when I first got into walking as a teenager, and the main sort of walking areas of the UK had these yellow 1 to 25,000 maps. They were called outdoor leisures, and they didn't cover the whole country. They were like your national parks, areas of outstanding natural beauty and stuff like that. And there was one for the South Pennines, and I remember buying that. God, it must have been late 80s or something. And I thought the highest point on it were going to be somewhere near me, like Waston Edge or something like that, which is 482 metres. And anyway, I'm scouring this map, and as I'm working my way northwards towards like the Bronte Moors and stuff, I saw this hill, and it was above the magic figure of 500 metres. There were no else above 500 metres, and I thought, Ladlaw, what a name as well, Ladlaw. I know the big mass is Ballsworth Hill, but that doesn't have such a good ring to it, but Ladlaw does. It sounds, I don't know, it has something about it, doesn't it? It's a bit of, I don't know, Law, that's an old name as a hill place. It got some sort of old significance. You get a lot of hills called Law in the Scottish borders, don't you? Southern Uplands and places like that, North Pennines and stuff. So yeah, the name was a big attraction anyway. I think the first time I came here, again, it was me and Lee, and we ended up, it was a 3-bus ride journey. I think it was Milner to Rochdale, Rochdale to Burnley, Burnley to Trawden, and we yomped up here then. Obviously another 3 buses back home, but I've done it probably another 3 times since then. Don't know whether you can see that there, but it's hovering around 8 degrees. It is quite mild for the time of year. I've actually de-layered in the sleeping bag. There's a couple of things that I sort of need to mention before I go to bed. What time is it now? Just turned 10. First of all, I need to thank a viewer called Phil, who gave me some really useful logistical information that made this trip run really quite smoothly. He gave me information on places to park, which came in really handy. They were a treat, and also on pitches up here. Now I'm not sure I've nailed the pitch exact that he gave me, but I'm there or thereabouts, and it's worked out. So thanks, Phil, for that. If you're watching. What other things? Oh yeah, a couple of little points on Wycoller, that lovely little hamlet that we walked through today that I forgot to talk about. The first one is Wycoller Hall. I don't know, I'll give you a bit of a tour with that, but the one thing I should have mentioned really, apparently it was the inspiration for Charlotte Bronte's Ferndean Manor in Jane Eyre. Apparently it was used as inspiration for that.
Don't know how true that is, but that's the way the story goes. And another thing about Wycoller, now, and I think this is true because so many people have told me, apparently Penelope Keith used to have a house there. Whether she actually spent much time there, whether it was an holiday home, I've no idea. But but Penelope Keith had a house in Wycoller. Great piece of information, that, isn't it? Right, it's getting quite late now as well. I'm just polishing off this rubbish can of beer that I've got. Got it from Aldi. It's not very nice. Cold, icy cold beer as well. I'm not enjoying it really. I'm probably going to make another cup of coffee. I've got some caffeine-free coffee, so hopefully it won't mess up my sleep. I've got some caffeine-free coffee. I'm going to chuck a load of whiskey in that, and then it's going to be lights out for me. So I'm going to use this time now to say good night, and I shall see you in the morning.
Morning folks, it's about 10 to 8. I've pretty much tackled down. I've tucked down the inner, and I've just got to pack everything in the rucksack. As you can see all around, it's a very grey, gloomy morning. Had a good night's sleep really though. Woke up about 2:45 for half an hour, back off, then woke up about 7, so could do that. I'm very comfortable. Anyway, it's chilly out here and I've no gloves on, so I'm going to tackle down and I'll speak to you again when I'm on my way. Looks like we've got a bit of a temperature inversion going on. Someone asked me on the Lake District wild camp I did up Bath, what's the difference between a temperature inversion and a cloud inversion? Well, there's nothing. A cloud inversion is kind of the wrong name really. It's a temperature inversion. It's where the temperature is inverted. So normally with height it gets colder, but in certain cold conditions, climatic conditions, as you go up with height it gets warmer, and that layer of cloud is trapped by that warm air. That's why you get that sort of low cloud in the valleys thing that you can break through. I've come just straight down. I've not walked back across the ridge to the main path. I've just sort of pointed myself west and come down the hill, and I'll find where I need to be. What I love about this area, there's just gorgeous trees. Really nice old veteran trees. I mean, that hawthorn there, imagine that in May. I could go on my arse here, it's slippy. Imagine that in May, full of May blossom. And there's some like big old oak, whoa, nearly. Some big old oaks and ashes as well around here. Lovely old trees. See, look at that oak there, it's an absolute beauty. What a really nice shape. I'm back on tarmac now, and this will take me all the way into Trawden and back to the car. I'm not exactly sure how far it is, maybe about a mile. You know what, to say it's been so misty, that temperature inversion didn't pan out. So it's been so misty and gloomy, it's been quite a nice morning really. The birds are singing in the treetops over there. It's quite nice. I feel, for a change, after a while, I'm quite sprightly and fresh this morning, which is unusual for me. I'm normally buggered after a camp. So yeah, it was a nice camp that, I enjoyed it. I've always wanted to camp up on Ladlaw, but it's nice in summer, though I'd imagine it's quite busy as well, so I'm not sure that'll be a viable option. Maybe a midweeker. Right, I can't think of anything else to say, so thanks for watching, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time.